You're listening to the Teach Better Talk podcast featuring expert educators eager to share progressive tactics to reach more students. Teach Better Talk is created by teachers and fueled by passion. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 153 of Teach Better Talk. I'm Ray Hewart, and as always, I'm with my incredibly supportive friend, Jeff Gargis.
Whoa, I was kind of like waiting and anticipating like the backhanded compliment or the incredibly something not very nice, but that ended up being pretty nice. Thanks, Ray.
Well, of course I said something nice because it wasn't my word. Adam is the one who submitted this, Adam Colts, who is a...
Adam who?
I don't think that's his last name. Wait,
Cotus?
Say it again.
C-O-T-T-O-S? Cotus?
Yes. Cotus?
Yeah. I think that's how I say his last name. Adam, if that's not how you say your last name, shoot me a message on Twitter and let me know. In fact, call me out in front of the world.
I think you should call him out in front of the entire world.
I should. I'm actually pumped up. I'm about to go. I'm going like not right now. This is one of three. But after we get done doing our three podcasts tonight, I'm going with on a podcast for the Aspire, the leadership podcast with Joshua Stamper. We're doing another Mailbag episode where we answer leadership questions. And Adam was one of the first ones to jump on. We had a whole bunch of people submit questions for this week, so we're super pumped up. But I think we're going to do Adam's too. Adam's a huge supporter. Awesome.
Hey, I'm not trying to call you out or like give you a compliment in any way, but the Joshua Stamper work that you guys have been doing with the Mailbag, I really enjoyed your first episode. I'm glad you're doing another. Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. We're talking a little bit tonight about like trying to explore, like we might do video tonight and put up on YouTube. We might look for different ways to do that. And I think we're going to eventually put them out on our station, on our show as well as like a bonus episode down the road. But I'm not sure if that's going to happen. So make sure you subscribe to Aspire, the leadership podcast with Joshua Stamper. Josh has been on our show on Teach Better Talk. We've both been on his. I think were we on his together?
Yes.
But he's a good dude. He was one of the guys that came out to the Teach Better Conference 2019 and brought his podcast out. Did a bunch of really great episodes there. He's on our Teach Better Speakers Network. He's going to a couple conferences this summer with us. Just a good guy. It was a lot of fun. He reached out. It was just something he was trying to do to give his audience a little something. He was getting some questions and wanted to answer. And he asked if I'd do it. And I did it. We had a blast. So I told him, I said, hey, if you ever want me to do it again, I'm up for it. And he reached out actually this morning. He's like, hey, you want to do it tonight? I'm like, let's do it. So,
hey, I was literally talking to him not 15 minutes before we started recording this episode. So do you think he's more of a Ray fan than a Jeff fan? What do you think?
You know what? I'm going to ask him. I actually think he might be one that I might win. I might.
Whoa. Might. What do you mean you might win? Like
9 out of 10 are probably going to go Team Ray, but I think I can get Joshua on the Team Jeff.
I am appalled that you just said that. I'm going to Vox him.
I won't give you a 10 out of 10.
I will absolutely Vox him right this moment. I do agree that about 9 out of 10 pick me, but I think Josh is in that 9 range. I really do.
Well, whatever.
It is what it is.
So moving on. Thanks to Adam. Word. Appreciate that. Shout out to Josh for being awesome.
Yeah, we could talk more about Josh. That'd be fine. But we have someone even cooler I thought we'd talk through.
Yeah, so it's kind of a cool twist and connection to this episode. So our awesome guest today is actually preparing to release, publish her book, and she's publishing it with our friends over at EduMatch. And if you don't know EduMatch Publishing is founded by someone who's super awesome, Sarah Thomas, who has been a guest on this podcast. She was way back at episode number 27.
Can you believe that?
I know, teachbetter.com/podcast/Sarah Thomas. That's Sarah with an H, Thomas. The episode was called Stay Authentic, and I literally still to this day, that's the best word to describe Sarah, I think, is just authentic all the time. She's just so like her. But so Sarah's, she would refer to herself as just like she's an educator. That's the primary thing that she is. She's a regional tech coordinator. She's the founder and CEO of EduMatch Publishing. She's a speaker, a sought-after speaker. She's a leader, a coach. She's phenomenal. I just wanted to give her a shout out because we do talk about, EduMatch on here, but we didn't get, normally when we talk about EduMatch on our podcast, which happens every now and then, we like take a minute, we sidestep, and we talk all about Sarah. We didn't do that, so we're going to do that right now. So if you're not following Sarah, first off, I love her Twitter handle. It's Sarah Teacher with TEECHUR. And I remember that was the first way I discovered her was through Twitter, and I'm like, I love that handle. And then I didn't realize how cool she was, but she's awesome. Definitely reach out, connect with her, get to know her, and get to know EduMatch. That'll lead really well into this guest that we have here in our episode today. You can also check out episode number 27 of Teach Better Talk with Sarah on it. We were just still figuring out what the heck we were doing at that point at episode 27. But
I know.
Sarah, what she was doing, so she was really good. We were like, we're okay.
We just were trying to figure out what this podcast was going to become. And she was so gracious to be like, here, guys, I'll help you out.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. That's exactly how it goes. So,
Jeff, have you ever met Sarah in person?
I haven't.
Do you think there might be some time in our future that we might?
It would be pretty sweet if we did.
Oh, so you're like not saying that it might happen, but it would be cool if it did happen.
I think it could happen. I think I might will it into existence.
Oh, you think you have the power?
Yeah, I have that power, Ray. You better believe it.
If you could start crossing your fingers and crossing your toes, I'd really like to meet her in 2020. I think it's going to be a goal of mine.
I'm just going to will it into existence.
I love it. It's happening.
It's going to happen. I love it. So let's talk about our episode real quick. So Rebecca Gibboney is a instructional coach. She started off her career as a Spanish teacher. She's now an instructional coach in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, not too far from me, actually, up around the Penn State area. She actually now, though, has then taken on a new role recently as a curriculum and online learning specialist at Blass Intermediate, Unit 17. She also is a college women's basketball coach, which is really cool. And we get into that and sort of how she connects those two worlds, her two passions of education and athletics. And we found out that her parents are coaches in college, and her husband is a coach in college, and her husband's parents, they're just all about collegiate athletics and coaching that. So really, really cool. I love how, and I'm going to let her explain in the episode, but how her book that is coming out, scheduled end of March, maybe early April with EduMatch, the book is connected also to the world of athletics and obviously education as well. And it's a really cool way that she ties that together. Super, super cool. Really enjoyed. She had a lot of one-liners that I want people to just kind of listen to, and some really, really great advice from her mom that I think is phenomenal. So, Ray, anything else we need to grab from this? Anything else we need to think through while we're listening?
There was so many moments I enjoyed in this episode. I loved the 6 questions specifically.
Yes.
So I would say that would be something you definitely need to pay attention to.
Definitely. I will take it. And from that, let's get into episode 153 with Rebecca Gibboney.
Hey everyone, it's Ray. We are about to get right back to the episode, but I wanted to make sure you are a part of our Facebook group. The Teach Better team has a private Facebook group that has grown so much over the past few months, and we continue to do live sessions, answer questions, and have teachers share their lesson plan ideas so we can all collaborate together. Head over to Facebook and search Teach Better Team to request to join, or you can head to teachbettergroup.com and request there. Either way, we'll see you over on Facebook. Now let's get back to the episode.
All right, we're here. We are chatting with Rebecca Gibboney. And Rebecca, it's so awesome to have you on the podcast. Super excited to get you on here. We just found out that you kind of got connected to us via the amazing folks over at EduMatch, so we're super excited about that. Want to dive in and talk about a few different things with you, learn a little bit about your journey, maybe talk about a book that might be coming out soon.
Yeah.
But before we dive too far into that stuff, I wanted to ask you, how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling great. It was a good day of work, and I'm ready to just be on this podcast with you guys. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited, Rebecca, to dive into all the work you're doing. And hello, the book with some of our good friends at EduMatch. I'm so stoked. But before we get into all the details, I know this is going to already be a great episode, just getting to chat with you before we started. Would you mind kind of sharing with our listeners a little about yourself? Like, if somebody asked you what you do, what would you typically respond with?
Well, it's really funny because I sort of laugh at that question because I sort of do whatever whatever happens. So whatever comes to mind, I just do. I have been in education for 9 years, and I started as a Spanish teacher and instructional coach. And now I actually just jumped ship and I changed. I'm a curriculum and online learning specialist at an intermediate unit here in Pennsylvania. But on the side, I also coach college basketball at my alma mater. So pretty busy, and I just enjoy doing whatever needs to get done.
Wow. So you coach where do you coach college ball?
Lycoming College, it's a small division
Okay.
in Williamsport. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's really cool. So awesome. So I want to dive in. We talk on this podcast a lot about failure. I'm always saying that I've been fortunate enough to fail a lot in my life. Not that I enjoyed it much when it happened, but because I got to learn from it. And I feel like I still learn every day from failures that happened even 10 years ago.
Right.
So I'm hoping, can you share a story with us about a time that you've had a failure in your life? Kind of take us there with you. What happened? How did you overcome that? And what did you take away from that experience?
Yeah. So I have like two experiences. And I'm really going to talk about the one, because I work with a lot of new teachers as well in my new role. And I also work with pre-service teachers. And I think everyone gets so nervous with job interviews. And they really feel like, man, I need to land this job, or I need to land the next interview, and everyone gets so hooked up on job interviews. And it's actually, I had a lot of interviews because, Spanish, I think, is so prevalent nowadays. And I actually did not even get my first couple of interviews. And so there was some, like, I put all my eggs in one basket and I was like, this is it. This is what I'm doing. I'm going to get it. And the job interview process was tough. It was really tough. And I think, like, the more I talk with teachers and they get so bent out of shape with these job interviews, I mean, don't get me wrong, you need to be prepared and everything, but I think it's okay to remember you're not going to get every job you interview for. And so when I didn't get my first job, it was a huge setback. And I was like, wow, like, can I really do this? And I think that's something in our occupation now with educators is, we get so discouraged easily sometimes. So I had a really good support system and they had me bounce back, and, I wouldn't have it any other way now. So.
Yeah, I love that story because I think that is right. I think too many people, and beyond educators, just everyone in general, thinks that I got a job interview, so now I got a job. And it's not about that one interview. It's about how many interviews can you line up so you have your best options? How many at-bats can you have to get up there and get a shot for it? So I love that story. And it's the same thing when we talk about lesson planning, right? The same thing we work on with our students when we talk about things like, mastery learning and your first attempt in learning, and learning how to fail and get back up and try again and overcoming those things. So great story. I love that. So let's flip it around. Let's talk about a successful moment now. And this could be something big or small, but tell us what happened. Why was it a success for you? And what did you take away from that experience?
So I already mentioned I just started a new job. And so curriculum and online learning specialist. And in Pennsylvania, we have intermediate units and we service so many districts in our regions. And so I got done reading this book. It was Rachel Hollis.
I love her
book. Right? The Girl Stop Apologizing. And of course, I get on the Rachel Hollis bus and I, interviewed for this job, and I'm like, I'm going to do it no matter what. And it was super outside my comfort zone. I was like, I'm not sure if I'm ready. I don't know if I want to leave the classroom, but I took the leap of faith. And I ended up getting this new job, and it took me a little bit to get used to it. And everyone keeps asking me, do you like it? How's it going? But I think it was the right move at the right time. And at this point in time, I think this is a huge success for me, just sort of stepping out of my comfort zone and doing something beyond me a little bit.
Okay, do you love that Jeff giggled when you said Rachel Hollis because he knew that I was going to geek out?
I know. She's definitely my girl. So, yeah.
I just love being around really good people, and whether it be her books or podcasts or anything else, don't you feel like it pushes you? And I think that surrounding ourselves with content that makes us better is really long-term going to change not only what we're able to do, but what we're able to support others in doing.
100%. 100%. I just love hearing about her failures even too. And then her successes and how she pushed through it. It's really motivational. I love all of her stuff.
Jeff, is this at the point where you decide that you're not going to pay attention to the podcast anymore and Rebecca and I are just going to keep chatting?
I'm sorry. What's going on?
Yeah,
Who's this?
exactly.
I'll be back in a little bit. Let me know how it goes.
All right. Well, Rebecca, I have to say, while Rachel Hollis has accomplished a lot, I know that you continue to accomplish a ton. And I have to know kind of what keeps you excited about education, because I know that, every single person, whether they're, an active listener to this podcast, or maybe this is their first episode they're listening, they all have something that fuels them and like keeps them excited about education. So what's really fueling you in all that you're doing?
Yeah, so I'm definitely someone, like, I love sharing my educational voice and advocating for educators. I always talk with people about like your why with Simon Sinek, but is that another good one for you? Do you like Simon Sinek?
Oh, we're totally bonded, girl.
Yeah. So when we talk about our why, and I always say your why evolves. And so now in this new part of my life with this new role, I feel like my why is a really big instiller of hope for some educators, because it can be exhausting. Any job really can. But if I can give hope to anyone, like an educator out there, that's definitely what I aim to do. And so that keeps me motivated. And a big thing for me too is I'm always setting goals for myself. And that could be the athlete side of me and the competitive side, but I'm always looking, that one next thing, not one more thing, but one next thing that can push me to make me a better educator. I always tell our students, if you're becoming an educator, you're dedicating yourself to become a lifelong learner. So all those goals and things like that just sort of adds to that.
Absolutely, it does. No, that's super important. So with that being said, I mean, obviously you've provided a lot of advice so far, but if there was one piece of advice that you needed to, share with teachers, whether they be new to the field or, even a veteran teacher, with everything they're able to do, all the coaching elements that you're a part of, what type of advice does a teacher need in this day and age to kind of encompass that progressive mindset?
Yeah. So for me, I like to practice, like, if you're not failing, then you're not doing it right. Like, there's no one cookie cutter teacher. And I think everyone gets so caught up in that. It's important as a teacher and an educator, anyone, like, to take risks and try new things in your classroom, even if you look crazy doing it. I'm not the best at balance, but everyone always tries to tell me to practice balance. And I do think it is important, keeping some things at work, and leaving play for home and at work, but practicing that balance part and knowing, to me, like, you're more than just your content. I get worried that teachers get so worried that they have to, teach this and make sure they cover this, but they go beyond their content. Students don't love classes because they learn, they love classes because of the bonds that you create with them. Learning is just a bonus with it, right?
Yeah, that is so important. There's so much more than your content, and what you are and who you are and what you bring to your classroom or your school or your district is so much more than the content that you share, because of what you just said. It's those connections and the relationships and those things that really stick with students, and it's those things that actually allow the students to then be in the right mindset to actually learn that content anyway. So I love that. Ray knows how I feel about like balance. I think it's important to go after, but I like the word harmony. You got to find it. Sometimes work has to take control. Sometimes personal life doesn't, and it's back and forth, it's ebb and flow. The most important piece is that you're happy in what you're doing.
Right.
So I love that. Great stuff. So I want to talk, we kind of alluded to it. We hinted to it. You have a book coming out.
I do.
Very soon. When is it out?
Well, it's looking like it's going to be the end of March here, beginning of April. So.
Okay. And that is being done with the amazing folks over at EduMatch, our good friends, correct?
Yes, it is.
So tell us about the book. Sort of, what's it about? I don't know if you're allowed to share what you're allowed to share. Don't get yourself in trouble. But what have you shared the cover out yet? Is that out yet?
I have not shared the cover yet.
So the cover's not even out
it's
yet.
my favorite part. I love it.
I know.
Have you seen the cover? Do you have the cover? Is it approved and stuff?
It's pretty much approved. I'm creating some of the people back at home with me. I'm trying to keep it all local, or helping me create what I'm trying to envision. But I do have a title. So the title is called The Tiebreaker.
The Tiebreaker. Ooh, okay. So can you tell us what that means and what that's about?
So what I did was I blended my two passions in life, which is sports and athletics and competitiveness and education. And so I discussed how time in my life when I was really torn between the two loves of my life, education and basketball, and how I blended them together as an instructional coach. So the book actually reads as a scouting report that I typically would give to my basketball players before games. We usually watch game film, and that's my role in the basketball team. I do the scouting report. So I wrote it like a scouting report, and it's for teachers and teacher leaders to help build a culture of gamification and professional learning. So as an instructional coach at my district, I started realizing like we just got stagnant. There were days like I was like blah, I didn't want to go into work. And I'm like, that's not how it should be. You should be having fun in everything you do. So I tried to bring the fun to school and to work, and I gamified everything we did in school. So I'm sort of trying to build that culture. We talk about gamification with students, but I brought it to the adult learning portion, and it was really fun. So,
That sounds so freaking cool.
yeah, I'm really excited. We'll see.
That's really neat. So you talk about athletics and stuff like that. So I'm assuming you've played, sports for, I'm assuming, most of your life.
Yep.
What more is it? Was basketball your sport, or were there others? What were your sports?
Yeah, so basketball was my sport. It's sort of like the family sport.
Gotcha.
And then I played a little bit of lacrosse. But
Okay.
my family is all coaches as well. My husband's the men's soccer coach at Lycoming College.
Okay.
And then his whole family is all college coaches as well. So
Wow.
yeah, we're sort of surrounded in the whole college coaching realm.
No kidding.
Yeah.
All right. Yes.
Basketball's the orange one you like throw, right?
Yeah. Ray only knows soccer.
I only know soccer.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I'm only learning that right now.
Soccer. I mean, she's a little off because she's a Chicago Fire fan, but she likes soccer.
Okay, but I also watch English Premier League. Let's not hate on Tottenham. Okay,
Yeah.
come on.
There you go.
True. You're right a little bit there. So that's awesome. I'm super excited about the book. I hope you keep us updated with it.
For sure.
Include it with notes and stuff. And EduMatch folks, really, really cool there. So, all right, let's have some fun. Not that we're already having fun, but let's have some more fun here. Let's do what we're going to do. The next 6 questions we're going to go through, and your goal is to answer each one in 15 seconds or less. You ready to go?
I'm ready. Wait, yes, I'm ready. I'm getting ready. Game
Wait, maybe
on. The game.
maybe I'm not. Yes, I am. Okay, and break. What is one ed tech tool you cannot live without?
Wakelet.
What is a good book you're reading right now?
The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek.
Who do we need to follow on Twitter or Instagram today?
Of course, Rachel Hollis and Simon Sinek. And then my boy Livingstone in Africa and Kenya.
And let's see, what's a good YouTube channel or website for educators?
I like Jerry Brooks and the Cult of Pedagogy.
And give us a daily, weekly, or monthly routine every teacher should get into.
Exercise and treat yourself.
Nice. And what is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
My mom says it to me all the time. 5 minutes or 5 years. What's going to matter?
Wow.
Interesting.
I like that.
Okay, wait. First of all, the whole treat yourself. I'm totally like cheating, but I'm looking at your notes. I like that coffee is mentioned as a treat yourself. That's awesome.
I love just going and sitting for coffee.
Oh, Rebecca, we are like the same human being. We are officially best friends.
Yeah.
I
Ray drives like 6 hours to go to a coffee shop.
don't go
That's
6.
right. It's the best place.
But
I'm drinking coffee right now, so I totally get it.
But how cool is the idea of 5 minutes or 5 years? Like, could you elaborate on that? I've heard that a few times, and I think that's such a good reminder for people, especially at this point in the school year.
Yeah. So my mom has tons of different sayings she would always tell me when I was younger. And something she tells me still to this day is like when something's bugging me, and it could be something small and petty or something big, and she'll say, is it going to matter in 5 minutes or 5 years? If it matters in 5 minutes, forget about it. If it matters in 5 years, well, then you might need to deal with it. So yeah, it helps me get myself to move past some things. So
it's super important. That's just all about putting yourself in having perspective on the current situation and why it's really bothering you or not. So I being an athlete, this is going to be really good. But Ray, I think she won the trophy. I mean, she blew through.
Trophy.
Wonderful.
So we'll ship it over.
I'm already concerned that even hours from now, I'm going to be debating this whole like 5 minutes or 5 years. I mean, every situation for the rest of my evening, I'm going to be thinking about this. So absolutely tripping.
My mom tends to do that. Although the sayings stick with us forever.
So she's going to come on the podcast next, right?
Oh, for sure.
I like that idea. Let's make that happen.
She's an
She
educator.
is.
She is.
What is she a coach as well?
Retired coach, but yeah.
What did she coach?
She coached field hockey and lacrosse.
Oh, okay. She's got to come on.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
So she's a retired educator too?
No, she has about, I don't know how long, 4 or 5 more years, but she's trying to innovate and do all these cool things. So I'm proud of her.
Yes. You need to pass on. Yeah, we need to bring her on too. I want to hear from her perspective.
Yeah, her perspective is very unique. So
I love it. And we'll change hers. Instead of best piece of advice you've ever received, it'll be best piece of advice you ever given, and she'll say the same thing.
I don't know. That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty creative.
I'd like to hear what the best is that she's ever received, and see if it's that one or if there's some other one. Like I could. Yeah, all right, we're excited. We're getting way off topic, but I'm super excited to have your mom on the show now. So.
Wonderful. You let me know.
Great.
Well, Rebecca, I'm so confident our listeners are not only loving our conversation and oogling with us about Rachel Hollis, but also talking about the amazing book that you have coming out with EduMatch within the next, like super soon.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that our listeners can connect with you, so they can not only connect with you to further learn about the amazing things that you're sharing on, but also to grab their copy of the book and hopefully write a review for it, because I think that is just a great opportunity for educators to share their love for the books they like. So would you mind kind of sharing how people can stay connected?
Yeah, so definitely you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram. It's at Gibboney Rebecca. I do have a website that we will post, and definitely the book. Something that's unique with the book that I'm trying to do is build a database and sort of like a hub for adult learners to share all their adult gamification. So
ooh, I like the sound of that.
Yeah. So in my book, on the last page, it's called Overtime, and it's going to take readers to a website, and I'd like to get them on a podcast and talk about how they've done the gamification with adult learning and share their resources, so we can have this big free network of gamification.
That is super cool. I love that. Make sure to keep us updated on that book.
Yeah.
And you listening, you can find all the links, all the resources, everything we talked about in this episode over at teachbetter.com, as well as the links for connecting with Rebecca, catching her book when it comes out, getting that super cool database that she's talking about, and keep the conversation going. So make sure you check out the show notes over at teachbetter.com for all of that. Be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. And if you can give us a rating and a review, we'd really, really appreciate that as well. And let's keep taking this one step further. Think of just 3 of your colleagues who need to hear these amazing stories and share this podcast with them. Rebecca, this was awesome. So happy to have you on. Really glad. Super excited for you, everything you have going on. And the book coming, everything like that. Just thank you for taking some time out of your day and chat with us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
And until next time, let's get out there and let's teach better.